What's something you're never doing again? Sleeping in my shed. My neighbor threatened to steal my lawnmower, so last summer I spent most nights sleeping in my shed protecting my lawnmower. I had a little army cot that I slept on. Your neighbor won that fight, even if he didn't steal it. Traveling with someone negative and difficult. And or traveling in groups of 3 if you are in any way possible the odd man/woman out. Visiting Las Vegas. I have never disliked a place more. It was like a garbage dump sprinkled with a misplaced shipment of love out in heels. Crossing the border into the US. Never again. As an American who travels a lot, my worst border crossing experiences are always when I'm coming back into my own country. Scuba diving. Not a safe activity for someone with panic attacks. Glad I did it once, never doing it again. 100% with you on that. I've been swimming since I was a toddler. I'm not uber athletic or anything, but I can swim pretty well. I spent entire summers swimming laps as a kid. So, I figured scuba would be logically a thing I would like. The mask clearing activity resulted in an amoeba up my nose, 0/10, would not recommend, and my first ever panic attack also. I'll free dive all day, swim and surf at night, but frick scuba. Something about the restricting equipment flips me right the frick out. Watching the growing old scene of Up. It has the sad moments, but I actually find it quite happy now. He got to live a long life with a woman he loved and learned that some things are so much better than their dream of adventure. They lived the greatest adventure together to the end, and it's just lovely. And even though they couldn't have kids, they came to terms with it and made a great life for themselves. So I feel bittersweet after that intro. Doing an edible. Literally a quarter of a brownie, and I was knocked on my ass. I had to keep asking my roommates if they were ill, because I genuinely was not sure. I was miserable and convinced hours had gone by, and then I'd looked down, it had literally been less than a minute. And then I woke up the next morning still high. Never again. Honestly, roller coasters. I've done it enough to know that I absolutely hate it, so at this point I just accept my fate as a freaking loser. I had so many people tell me that I just need to keep riding them and I would enjoy it. I rode lots of roller coasters for a few years and it never got better. I hated every second of it. Meth. I smoked it. Freaked out. Smoked a bowl of weed to try to calm down. Became delusional and cried in my friend's bedroom corner for like 6 hours. By the end of it, I was frozen solid in fear, trying not to move because I thought my skin would rip open. The friend that pressured me into trying it was ripping all kinds of electronics and power tools apart and painting fricked up pictures. Didn't try to calm me down or anything. He just turned the music, Summertime by Mungo Jerry, on repeat the entire time, up and ignored me. It was the polar opposite of what I had heard stories about. I heard it made you feel invincible with endless energy. Nah bruh, I was terrified because I couldn't ignore the idea that beetles were crawling in my scalp and that blood was pooling in my lungs. I've done a laundry list of drugs and tried smoking things that you wouldn't believe, and out of all of those things, meth is the only one I'd never ever even consider doing again. Sticking a needle in a patient's dick because he had an erection for more than 4 hours. I ate a chunk of a Carolina Reaper before it was officially declared the hottest pepper. I'll never do something like that again, for sure. A hardcore night of drinking and then going to work 3 hours later. I still remember the one night I decided it. I used to go out every Thursday night for karaoke and beer. I started a new job that I had to get up at 5 AM to begin a commute of buses and trains to get to work at 7 AM. I got home from drinking at the bar at 3 AM, slept 2 hours, was still drunk, fell asleep to the last stop on the train, had to take the train 3 stops back to my destination. I made it to work, still drunk. My manager took a whiff of me and noticed I wasn't walking straight at all. She was a bro and told me to go to the break room and sleep a little bit before someone else takes notice and would write me up. She covered for me saying I was having a migraine and needed to come down from it. I slept for almost 2 hours in the break room and sobered up a little bit. I was hungover for the whole day. I felt miserable. Since that day, I never went out for drinks if I had to work the next morning. That was when I was 25. Now that I'm in my 30s, it's damn near impossible to even drink as much as I used to.